morning, everyone. This is Sean Butner with Start Your Morning with the High Performance Coach. I'm really excited to have you here today for the morning show because we're going to be talking about change fatigue. Now, if I've had the distinct pleasure to work with a few educators this year in my coaching practice, and the amount of work, the amount of adaptability, the amount of grit and uncertainty, and people handling how nobody knew how to handle, teaching kids on Zoom or whatever video conferencing thing is, has been very immense. And I've also noticed out there, now that we're getting into the back half, or the back quarter of 2020, how a lot of people are really just kind of fed up with change. And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you're like, I just want some consistency for a little bit, or normalcy, as people will say. And, I just really need a break. And totally get that. But I wanted to talk a little bit and do a little bit of a couple-part series this week on Start Your Morning with the Coach to talk about change fatigue. And we're going to start today with different types of mindsets. So if you're watching, share this video if you think somebody might need to hear something like how to handle change a little bit more gracefully or a little bit better, or just it needs a couple of different mind shifts or tools to help them really embrace, I guess is the word. I'm going for change because, in my career in tech, it was all change, right? You have things consistent for maybe 2 weeks before something broke and you need to find bugs. You'd have a new system, a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking would come up. New team members coming on and off projects and all that. So there's always change to be managed. There's always change to be had. And so you start to develop this skill of not getting emotionally activated with change. Some big changes happen, everyone locking down was a big change for everyone. You're going to have emotional reactions, but it doesn't serve you to get stuck in those. So how do you not get stuck in some of the anger, some of the anxiety, some of the overwhelm that happens when there's tons of changes happening consistently? So that's what we're talking about. So in order for you to handle change better, and let's be honest, this is a little challenging, but you probably could handle change a bit better, even, having a career based in change management, essentially. I know that's true for me, and so I'm not saying that I have this figured out. It's still a struggle for me, but I do think I've been able to adapt a lot better than some of my peers and some of the folks that I've helped because of that experience. So how can we get you into that space? Well, I identified a couple of mindsets that really help me when things are super chaotic. Even things that would normally be normal are a bit different. The first thing to think about, folks, is that you have agency. I have it. Instagram is going to be backwards. So I have agency to add to changes. So it can seem sometimes that things happen out of our control. And that's true, right? We couldn't control a pandemic happening. We, couldn't control how the economy was reacting. We couldn't control a lot of different things. You can't control that the place where you worked just laid off a bunch of people, or that your work was consistently changing because the people at top were trying to figure out and not engaging everyone else. So there's a lot of things that are outside of our control, and you can actually classify things in that. So there are things that I can't do anything about, and there's things that I can do about things about. So when there's a lot of uncertainty out there, sometimes you just need to say, you know what, how can I make sense of this? How can I get clarity? I can take a step back and try to say, hey, this is working, or hey, this is not working at all. And there's a lot of folks I think that have been saying this is not working at all. So, when you think about the things that you can control, it's your attitude. Thanks to Dale Carnegie, he taught us that. It's how you approach things. It's how you're engaging things. So a lot of people tend to disengage, when they don't feel like they have control, but you have control if you disengage, if that makes sense. So, what can you do if you just want to say, I just want to hold down in my house and not deal with any of it? Well, part of it in high performance is, not avoiding change, or avoiding those types of things. It's confronting them. So, how can you confront it? How can you make it fun? you know, that is a very subjective thing where you could, make fun of things, you can make it silly, or you can, find your way to really make it lighter, right? You have control over that. You don't have control over all those other decisions, the other things that are impacting it, but you do have a decision on how you show up. Are you going to let those negative emotions win the day, and are you going to take them out on your family and friends and make their lives worse because you can't handle that yourself? And again, you have agency. You can control this. So, whether that's through exercise, whether that's through meditation, whether that's through doing something you absolutely love, like music or writing or make really sad poems or whatever it is, those are things that you can control and add to your day in order to handle change. And it all starts with that mindset that I have agency here. I have the ability to change my reality if I can't change the environment. So first one. Second, really important thing when it comes to handling change, whether it's, professional in tech or globally because of 2020, it's I am adaptable, or adaptability is, I misspelled that. So it's just this belief that you can handle whatever's thrown your way, right? So assuming it's not like a live, hungry lion or people shooting arrows at you, or, things that'll hurt you physically, most things that are thrown at us, we are way more resilient than we believe, and we can adapt and we can find ways to cope with it and to change. So, but it all, again, starts with this mindset that I can handle this. I am adaptable. I can figure this out, right? And again, if it's, as long as it's not physically threatening and not going to kill you or hurt you in that kind of way, most things that's true. So make sure, number one, you realize you have agency. Number two, you believe that you are adaptable. The third thing is curiosity on how things are going, right? With all the change going on, jobs are shifting, careers are shifting, work is shifting at lightning pace. Having the curiosity to say, hey, is this actually a good thing? Is this something that needed to get changed that'll make things better coming forward? And this can be a really tough one to really say, out of everything that's going on in my life right now, how is it all going? How could it maybe be done better? If you have the agency that you can make choices to change things, this is what's going to make your life better. It's curiosity. It's that exploration of, okay, we're now in a virtual world. How can we make this different and unique but effective when it comes to teaching kids, when it comes to running your businesses, when it comes to making sales calls? What are the good things here that we can focus on and double down on and really make this shine, right? Because this will lead to the next point. I won't get ahead of myself. But again, develop that curiosity on how you can impact the things going on in your life, and it might be overwhelming. You're like, again, I don't have control over that, but that goes back to, adapt, right? Adapt and focus on the things that you can change. And the last mindset to adopt to overcome change fatigue before we get into tactical things later this week is change can be good, right? So many people, when if you've ever worked on a team where things are changing too much and they just double down on process, they try to control every little minute thing, you have this bureaucracy to jump through. Usually it's because people don't like change or don't like difference, and you can develop a negative association with it. So what you want to do is how is this change necessary? How is this change good? And how can we, if things are going to go back to the way things were, or as we move forward, how can we make sure that this makes it even better, right? There's this weird life cycle out in the world where things are created, things are destroyed, things are created, things are destroyed. We're dealing with wildfires here in Berkeley, so forests areas getting burned down. But it also sets up a bunch of trees. That's part of their life cycle where they can, their seeds will drop and it'll grow new trees, which is kind of cool. Painful right now, but cool in the future, right? So that's the idea. So if things have changed in your work, maybe it was time to, start that business, and maybe not, but it can be really stressful. But maybe it's time for that career change. Maybe it's time to say, hey, a lot of people are talking about here in the Bay Area that we might not need as many offices because people can work from home. It actually works a lot better for people's lives. We just need to kind of figure out how to make that experience productive and healthy for everyone, and that'll really get locked in. But I think, everyone working from home now pushed us as a society more into this work from home type of stuff, and spread it out through not just the Bay Area, but other areas of the country too, which is awesome. So how can we make that experience super awesome? How can you make sure that when you're working at home that you can take care of the kids, a little bit, you can do all your chores, you can get your work done and be really awesome at it, and be super productive there, and not feel like work has invaded your home, right? I know a lot of people, can't separate now, but, that's the problem we have to solve. So it's kind of just thinking through, but this is all good things, I think. I think this is all great for how we're going to operate in the future with businesses. I think education will change a lot too as we do these weird hybrid models and working from home. Maybe we can shift how we're doing education, which is basically, from my understanding, training people to do, go into factories, since that system was made, in the mid 1900s, right? So change can be good, guys, and gals and folks. So again, have a mindset of agency, that you can control the things that you can control, and that'll help calm some anxieties. Make sure you believe that you can handle everything, that you're adaptable. Make sure that you have a curiosity on how things are going, and then just believe that change can be good, right? And these 4 mindsets will set you up to help start to overcome that change fatigue. And so tomorrow we'll talk about some energy things you can do when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, to help and build that into your day so it makes it a little bit more manageable. So hope to see you tomorrow on that, folks, at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm Sean Butner, signing off, saying have more joy in your life, more personal growth, and more impact in your communities today. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.